Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest edition of Tales from Outer Space, where I take stories from across the internet and read them for your entertainment. This particular story is called The Labyrinth, written by Perilous Platypus. Awareness came slowly. An endless black morphs into a dull haze of grey. Looming shapes resolve themselves. I do not remember where I have been, and I only now realizing that I am here. Looming shapes resolve themselves. I do not remember where I've been, and I am only now realizing that I am here. Where is here? I stir. My muscles are sore. Wake faster, we must begin. The voice is a guttural thing, almost a growl. It brings my senses to me with haste, and I jerk upward, trying to find the source. My eyes focus on a strange creature a few feet from me. It peers at me, or I believe it peers at me. It is difficult to tell whether the protrusions from its head are antennae or eye stalks or merely decorative. I cough, clearing my throat, to find my own speech. I feel as though I have not spoken in a long time, as if a great many moments in silence have passed and I am breaking some eldritch curse by speaking. "Excuse me," I say, my eyes shifting between the antenna eye stalks and the lithe, vaguely insectoid corpus it is attached to. Oaked pincer emerges from the place beneath the layered carapace, and mandibles unseen until now begin to work. "Make a selection so that we may begin." The pincer snapped open and then shut a few times, which I thought to be impatience or frustration. "This is a favorable constellation. We may not see its like again." I'm confused. First, by the fact that my companion is a behemoth insectoid variant. Second, by the fact it is speaking. Third, by the implication that there is some action I must undertake and some relevant timeline by which it must be undertaken. I push myself up. My head swirls at the action, a fuzziness entering my perception once more. I focus, forcing the haze away so that I might engage with my counterpart with greater clarity. "I don't understand." The mandals work, but no translation follows. I am left to ponder whether the words are non-translatable. Eventually, the insectoid skitters towards a large table and taps its pincer against it. "Make a selection." Then it raises its pincer and jabs it in another direction. My eyes follow, and I see a looming gap in the chamber we reside in. On the other side of the gap is a corridor hewn of a different variety of stone that appears to be dead-end into an intersection of some distance off. The Haven Way, they are uncommon. It'll give us some opportunity to progress in the labyrinth before our first trial. Many of these words are nonsensical, or they are sensical, but not in the very specific context they are clearly alluded to. I am aware of the concept of labyrinths, but I am unaware of this particular one that I am now confronted with. Similarly, I have the sense of trials, but that sense seems to be far different from the trial my companion is referencing. Somehow I do not think there will be an abundance of lawyers present when the insectoid and I are brought to trial. Frankly, I am surprised by my general lack of concern about all these things. It seems like a very sort of thing that would induce panic in me at any other point in my existence, faded from memory that it is. "Why am I here? Is this a dream?" The insectoid's mandibles are working again. It is only after a moment that more words have come tumbling forth. "You are in sanctuary. The spell will fade soon and our protections with it. You must make a selection and be within the labyrinth by then. I'll leave without you if I must, but it will place me at a great disadvantage. It would be a large loss. I'm told humans are quite adaptable companions." I slowly mount my feet, taking a moment to let the dizziness subside before shuffling towards the table. "Humans," I mumble to myself. "What are you?" A strange series of screeches emit from the insectoid, followed by words. "Humans call us chitinai. It will be easier if you refer to me as Tedfie." "Tedfie? That's your name?" I asked, as I approached the table. Atop the table are 4 glowing orbs. One is grey, with faint flashes of light running in angles along the surface, almost as if there were a circuitry beneath the surface. Another is pure white, swirling and tranquil. The third is black, with darting malevolent crimson. The last is a vibrant green, blooming and pulsing with life. "What do they mean?" "Tedfie, yes." The Kaitani replies. standing beside me, more forward of the table. It is shorter than me, but far longer than given the arrangement of its body and multitude of legs beneath it. The orbs of paths of power each will unlock capacity within you. The labyrinth will change you to fulfill that capacity. And if I fail this challenge, you'll die. It is likely I will die as well. I nod, as if this were somehow expected. Somewhere, deep within me, I feel like I should be screaming. Instead, I reach towards the first of the orbs, the grey one with the impression of circuitry. As my hand approaches, sparks begin to emit, and eventually a bolt of energy connects me to the orb. Instantly, I'm given a sense of the orb and the capacity it contains, an affinity for machines and equipment, a relationship with technology that forms an identity. Technomancer, I say. Tedfie's pincers open and shut. Yes, humans are very strong in technology, and it's no surprise that such an orb should appear. Still, it is uncommon unless the human comes from a background in science. Do you recall where you were before? I search my mind, trying to get some impression. But I am greeted only with swirling abyss. Whatever I was is no longer part of my conscious thought. It is locked away behind the abyss, and I sense that I will not be able to penetrate it no matter how much I focus. This should be alarming. Why am I so calm? Such a sanctuary. Few are prepared for the labyrinth, and so the makers have devised ways to settle the mind so that progress is possible. The effects will fade once we have left. Many find it difficult to proceed once the protections are gone. I hope this will not be the case with you, Tedfie paused. What shall I call you? I search my memory again. Nothing appears. I shrug. I do not know. Tedfie skitters a little closer. Human is not a very satisfying name. Perhaps your choice of an orb will make it easier to determine a proper name. As I've said, we must continue. I do not wish to lose access to the Haven Way. Haven Way? I ask, as my hand moves from the first orb to the swirling white orb. As before, the orb begins to emit sparks as I draw closer. A corridor such as the Haven Way, it offers choices, selections, branches, possibilities, allow for the creation of an yearly experience to maximize our opportunities. Many chosen die within the first room because it is ill-suited to their paths, and they have not gained enough experience to overcome the shortfall. Eventually, another connection is formed, an image of a brilliant shaft of light descending from the heavens, and then flaring in 100 directions to form a glowing aura appears in my head. A word congeals amidst the glorious light, and I say it aloud. Archon. Tedfie considers this. This path does not exist for the Chitani. We have no faith in anything other than our own abilities and the world around us. We cannot draw upon a connection to the Aether and the gods beyond. Perhaps it is an advantage, but it may also contain less affinity between us. I turn to look at Tedfie now. What path have you chosen? Tedfie raises two pincers in front of it now and snaps them open and shut. I am a ripper. I swallow at that. I see. And I'm assuming you rip things? It's a specialization in melee combat and physical problem-solving. One eye stalk. I've become increasingly certain that is what they are. Swivels towards me and bobs up and down. Given your physical condition, I suspected that I would be the one to face the brunt of most of the violence. I look down at my slight frame and the small roundness by my belly protruding below me. It is also the first time that I've noticed that I'm nude. This also bothers me far less than I expected it should. I'm momentarily thankful for Sanctuary and its effects. So no Archon then, I say. I do recall having a particularly strong connection with faith, and the Abyss could be responsible for that. I do feel somehow that Archon is less suitable than Technomancer, though I could not articulate why or how. Interact with the others and then make a selection with a full light of knowledge. I nod. A funny thought occurs as I reach for the third black orb. Perhaps I'll be a ripper too. Tedfie's eyes stalks were focused on my hands and approached the third. Humans cannot be rippers. A connection forms, and I immediately perceive an endless field of ruin. The plane is shattered into fragments and punctuated by guts of fire. I can almost feel the blistering heat, and I quickly withdraw my hand, and the words Chaostician forms. Tedfie skitters back a few steps, his eye stalks retracting slightly into its head. This is most unusual. It seemed extreme. Tedfie considers it for a few moments. It is a rare path. Few paths have the capacity to impact the labyrinth itself. It is both the opportunity and a risk. A Chaostician in the streams of the labyrinth become the heart of your path. A Chaostician cannot progress in order. The pincers reached up and preened the eye stalks for a moment. We'll be very likely die if we survive. We will very likely become champions perhaps even legends. How do you know so much? I asked. We are not like the humans or any of the other forgetful races. Tini have studied, prepared for the labyrinth since we made its discovery. Because of this, the effects of sanctuary do not reach us. Our minds need not be settled, and therefore we are permitted to retain who we are. I had the distinct impression that Deadfee was experiencing the equivalent of human chest swelling with pride. Well, that's good to know, I paused. So, should I be a chaostician? Does it feel correct? Deadfee asks. Do you have an impression of fit when you reach for it? I had pulled my hand away so quickly that I had not gotten a sense of things in the same way I had for the Technomancer and Archon, though perhaps that was an indication enough. It was alarming. Alarming was the furthest sentry would allow me to go, it appeared. Utterly terrifying would likely apply in other situations. I'll try the fourth and then consider. Should you select Chaostician, the Heaven Way will be of less importance. Indeed, the order of such an option may actually impede your progress down the path. It is a thing to consider. I am already reaching for the fourth orb, the one of pulsing green. As the connection forms, I am filled with an overwhelming sense of calm. All around me, life springs forth, and I feel my place amidst that life, a tender of that life, an enabler, a cultivator, I whisper. Deadfee hunches forward, the eye stalks trained in the green cultivator orb, and the Chaostician orb, and finally the Archon and Technomancer orb. Very strange, it says. Strange? There are 4 orbs in contrast. There is no affinity between them. This is unknown to us. Humans often break the rules of the labyrinth as we understand them, but this is not the situation that we have confronted before. Even humans have at least some semblance of commonality. There is none amongst your selection. Did you at least feel a pull towards one? Cultivator. It felt the most, correct. Deadfee was silent for a moment. When it spoke, the words were not encouraging. It is a weak path. Weak? I asked. A cultivator has never survived the labyrinth. I swallowed at that, my eyes nervously on the 4th orb now. Why not? The path is a facilitator of vitality. There are many dead rooms within the labyrinth, places that are inherently hostile to life and possess no raw materials for the cultivator to enable. I pondered this. But the labyrinth can be changed, yes? It is a rare thing, rarer still to be part of the path, such as the Chaostician. The cultivator path is of order. It works within the systems as they are. A strange thought occurs to me. A recognition of the rules, such as I have been able to glean from Deadfee, are not as immutable as it would have me believe. That unusual situations can occur. I rub my hands together, my thoughts racing as I think of the orbs, and particularly the last 2. Chaos and order. They seem to be in opposition, but perhaps that was the wrong framing. Could they not be 2 parts of a whole system? 2 faces to balance a coin. My hand seizes their motions, and I begin to reach out with both. I am left out on the Chaostician orb, and my right on the cultivator. Deadfee realizes my intent to intercede, but I am faster. Before the tinny can stop me, I have grasped both firmly in my hands. The orbs melt and enter into me, flaring up in my arms and then racing into my mind. I feel as if I'm being torn apart, and I stagger backward, away from the table. I fall to my knees and clutch my head as I scream out. Deadfee stands back, its pincers nervously clamping against each other. Within my mind, I perceive a great field of green meeting a blackened field of ruin. They collide into one another, and an angry red seam appears between them, with neither able to gain mastery over the other. The tension between the joinder is enormous, and I am in agony as I perceive it. The shiftless abyss of my past hangs over the battlefield, as if observing. Then the abyss clears, and a sense of who I was emerges. The 2 sides still grow, remaining in tension, but no longer in active warfare. Order and chaos exist, and it is who I choose between. It is I who sit in judgment. I stand, a new clarity to my purpose. I turn back to look at Deadfee. I'm ready. Deadfee looks on with what I imagine is certainty. What have you done? What I was meant to do. I have no love for chaos, but I know progress cannot exist without it. Order without its counterpart is stagnation. The 2 must be harnessed. To cultivate, one must destroy. I see this now. The clarity of who I am strikes me, even though I have no memory of this past life. What shall I call you? Tedfy asked. I smiled at Tedfy now. Call me what I am. It is what I was once known as, and it'll serve us when the challenges to come. Call me Judge. Judge, Tedfy repeated, uncertain. Let us begin. I nod towards the corridor beyond. Do not worry. I've endured many trials. End of story. I'd greatly like to thank our Tier 5 channel members, Caspar Arnholtz, John Creighton, Manatharia, 050, Dragzoon WRE, and Elijah Silvercross. Thank you very much.